ASMR. Have you ever wondered what the hell microbiology is? Well, let's learn that together, okay? I am taking microbiology lecture class and a lab class as a part of my prerequisites for the nursing program. And guess what? I just got accepted into the program. Okay. So as to not disappoint my professors and myself, I would like to study with you beautiful, smart, intelligent creature. Whether or not you care about microbiology, want to learn microbiology, or are taking a class like me in microbiology, I'm sure this video will be easy to fall asleep to. This is how it's gonna work, okay? Let's figure this out. I have made a wonderful, beautiful Quizlet, okay? I'm even gonna link it in the description box because I'm a kind of human being. And I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna give you a moment to think about it. Okay. And then I'm gonna answer it, okay? I am not a professional at microbiology, but I have studied this a little bit, and I'll explain what I know, okay? We're gonna learn together. We're gonna study together. This is gonna be a great experience, okay? You know it's gonna be a good night when I got coffee. That was awful. Let's do that better. Let's start her off easy, shall we? Okay. Number 1. What is biology? What is biology? Biology is the study of living organisms, okay? The study of living organisms. Ology is like studying something, okay? Bio is life. Biology, it's in the name. Alright, now we're gonna get a little bit more specific. What is microbiology? Okay, let's think about it. Ology, the study of, okay? Microbio, tiny living things. It is a study of microbes, which are extremely small, microscopic, so you need a microscope to see them. What are living microbes? Alright, let me just give you a little explanation, okay? There's living and then there's non-living microbes. Living microbes are known as cellular microbes or microorganisms. Examples include bacteria, archaea, some algae, protozoa, and fungi. All of those are living. Okay. Now we got some non-living microbes. So what the hell are non-living microbes? I'll tell you. Non-living microbes are acellular. Okay. Acellular microbes can often be infectious particles, and examples include viruses, viroids, and prions. Viruses are not living, okay? Microbes are ubiquitous. What does that word mean, ubiquitous? It means everywhere, baby. It means it's everywhere, and therefore microorganisms, microbes, whatever you want to call it, are ubiquitous. They are everywhere. Fun fact, 90% of microorganisms aren't going to bother you. They're pretty chill. In fact, some of them are pretty good for you, like probiotics. But 10% of these microorganisms in the air around you that are ubiquitous, not so good. They can cause disease and sickness, etc. Alright, have you heard of mad cows? cause disease. Prions go inside of the cow, okay? And prions are made of dust particles, as we know, and they have protein inside them. And it goes directly into the CNS, aka the central nervous system of the cow. Now, let me read it off so you get a good description. Okay, let's talk about it. Causes cow brain cells to die with sponge-like holes in the brain. Cow behaves strangely and eventually dies. If we humans eat that meat, no matter how well cooked, we can't break it down, so we get CDJ. Big picture. It starts by a prion, not a virus. And remember, prions are non-living, aka acellular. Alright, prions go in the cow and make it go crazy. And if we eat that cow, then we go crazy and everyone dies. Prions, not a fan. Next question. Cellular organisms have a what inside them? Remember, cellular are living, okay? Cellular are living, So they have RNA and DNA, okay? RNA and DNA. What do cellular organisms have inside them? Question mark. RNA and DNA. Now, what do acellular, aka the non-living organisms, have inside them? Tell me. Can you make a guess? They have either RNA or DNA or nothing. And nothing just means dust particles, which is basically a protein. Alright, let's talk about my favorite thing in the whole wide world. Prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Let's talk about them, okay? They are cellular microorganisms. So cellular means that they're living, and microorganisms mean they're so tiny we can only see them under a microscope, okay? Let's talk about prokaryotes, okay? Prokaryotes are smaller than eukaryotes. They're simpler in design. They don't have a nucleus. They're just chilling. But they do have RNA and DNA, remember, because they're cellular. Examples include bacteria and archaea. Now, eukaryotes are bigger. They're more complex. They have a nucleus. They have organelles. They have RNA and DNA. And some examples include algae, protozoa, and fungi. Okay. We've already talked a lot about prions, but let's go over it one more time. A prion, which is an acellular microorganism, and infectious is a dust particle with a protein, which also causes mad cow disease, and CDJ. I don't know what that stands for. Let me know in the comments. I forgot. Are viruses alive? That's a good question. Do you know the answer? Are viruses alive? Homie, bruh, sister. Are viruses alive? You should be ashamed of yourself, because the answer is no. If you said no, then you're smart. Anyways, no, they're non-living organisms. They have either DNA or RNA. Okay, remember that. That's a cool question. Viruses are not living. What happens when a virus enters the body? Okay, I'm gonna read this off. That is when they become alive. So when viruses go inside the body, they become alive and stick to cells where they multiply within the cell. They take over our DNA and RNA. They rule over them. Their nucleic acid commands our nucleic acid to produce more of their nucleic acid. Oh my goodness. That is why HIV patients can live for many years and die of a common cold. Having too much DNA and RNA can make you immunocompromised. So let's talk about that, okay? Because that's pretty interesting. I'm sure you've heard a lot about HIV. Don't really understand it. Let's talk about it. So when a virus such as HIV enters your body, it gravitates to the cell and it just dictates it like a mean mofo, okay? And it makes us make nucleic acid. It makes us make more DNA and RNA. And then we got all this DNA and RNA. When you have all of that in your body, you get cancers, which just means you're more sensitive and likely to get sick. Okay, you're a little sensitive because of all the DNA and RNA in your body. HIV does that, so sometimes you won't die from the HIV virus, but you'll die because it makes you immunocompromised and you can die of a cold. It's kind of awful. Which is easier to treat, a bacteria infection or a virus infection? Bacteria or a virus? Bacteria infection, because we can use antibiotics to kill them. That's where viruses and prions, they just take over the cell. We can't combat that, really. What is the difference between acellular and cellular? If you don't know this by this part of the video, I am ashamed of you. I'm just kidding, I'm not. It's okay. Acellular means non-living, cellular means living. Acellular have either RNA or DNA or dust particles. And examples include virus, viroid, and prion. Cellular, again, is living. They have RNA and DNA. They have a cytoplasmic membrane. They're divided into eukaryotes and prokaryotes. Do prions have nucleic acid? No, they're very simple. They're basically just dust particles and proteins. Is bacteria or viruses intracellular? Dun dun dun. Bacteria can be both. However, viruses are intracellular. Therefore, in order to kill the virus, we have to kill the cell. The immune system is the only thing to rid the body of a virus. So that's why it's important to have a strong immune system. Difference between eukaryote and prokaryote. Again, we've gone over this, but this is just reinforcement, okay? Reinforcement, repetition. This is the stuff that gets you through nursing school, okay? A eukaryote, which is fungi, algae, and protozoa, has a nucleus. A prokaryote, which is bacteria and archaea, doesn't. A eukaryote is larger, more complex. However, both are living and have both DNA and RNA, okay? Out of all these microorganisms, which can be treated with antibiotics? Out of all these microorganisms, which one can be treated with antibiotics? And that is bacteria, baby. What is the difference between bacteria and archaea? Bacteria and archaea. Okay. We know both of those are living, and we know that they are prokaryotes. Archaeas are the dinosaurs of the bacterial world. Unique features. They're methanogens. They can survive in methane gas. They're thermophiles. They can resist high heat, and halophiles. They're salt-loving. Bacteria cannot survive under these circumstances. So let's give some examples. They can live in salt. Archaea can live in salt. Alright, so the Dead Sea, they can find not bacteria, but they can find archaea in the Dead Sea, okay? They can also find archaea in boiling water, and they can also find it where methane gas is, as where bacteria cannot, okay? Bacteria is afraid of tap water, basically. Does salt spoil? Do it spoil? Does salt spoil? Tell me. No, because bacteria, as we've just discussed, cannot live in salt. However, technically archaea can get into salt, but that's unlikely. So no. Where are archaea found? Archaeas are found in Antarctica deserts and in your own intestines. In Yellowstone, in the boiling water too, which is a fun fact. What are microbes that cause disease often referred as? When you're a baby, a child, young adults, people tell you to wash your hands, to rid your fingers and nails and skin of germs. They're often referred as germs. Okay, moving on. Define pathogen. Pathogen. A disease. cause a disease. Where does the maximum amount of oxygen come from? No. Where does our oxygen come from? We're all like, it comes from the trees. It comes from the plants. And yes, that is very true. However, according to my microbiology teacher, microbes create most of the oxygen in our air, and they use that by taking the moisture in the air and creating oxygen. So, thank you, microbes. You're a-okay with me. Microbes that live on and in our bodies are referred to as indigenous microbiota. So microbes that live on you and inside you are indigenous microbiota. Okay. What are opportunistic pathogens? They are indigenous microbiota organisms that wait on or in the body for the immune system to go down and will start multiplying and will create a different infection. So if you are taking antibiotics, for example, especially broad spectrum, to fight one infection, they will multiply and create another disease infection, like, for my ladies, a yeast infection. Yeast naturally resides in the vaginal area. When the yeast sees the other bacteria is dead from the antibiotics, it multiplies. Yeah, so that sucks. Alright, next question. What is the difference between infectious disease and microbial intoxication? Now I'm going to be straight up with y'all. This is the one question on this quiz I'm still trying to wrap my head around. You're trying to find the difference between infectious disease and microbial intoxication. I don't know. I watched a video on it. Still don't understand, but I'm going to read it off. Food-borne infection is caused by the ingestion of food containing live bacteria which grow and establish themselves in the human intestinal tract. Food-borne intoxication is caused by ingesting food containing toxins formed by bacteria which resulted from the bacterial growth in the food item. Simple summary: infectious equals bacteria that multiplies. Intoxication is toxin that causes disease. I'm going to remember that as intoxication, toxins. That's basically how I'm going to memorize it. Let's talk about the life of a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful bacteria. Number 1, photosynthetic algae and bacteria such as cyanobacteria produce much of the oxygen in our atmosphere. 2, microorganisms are involved in the decomposition of dead organism and waste products. Saprophytes, aka our decomposers, are organisms that live on dead and are decaying organic matter. 3. The use of microbes to clean up toxic wastes and other industrial waste products is known as bioremediation. An example are the microbes that eat oil spills in water, microbes that also eat up our waste in toilet water to be repurposed for irrigation. So yeah, did you know that when you go poo-poo and pee-pee in the toilet, it goes to the sewer system and they put bacteria in the water to eat your poo-poo and pee-pee, and then they use that water for irrigation. That's why sometimes when you pass by a farm or whatnot and they start irrigating the plants, they kind of stinky. It's because it's your poo-poo. Moving on. Many microbes play essential roles in various elemental cycles, such as the carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, and phosphorus cycles. Algae and bacteria serve as food for tiny animals. They are important links in the food chain. Microbes that live in the intestinal tracts of animals aid in the digestion of food and produce beneficial substances. Where can you find these microbes? I bet your grandma eats it every day. Yogurt. Yogurt is really good for you because it has probiotics. Just make sure that you stay away from very sugary ones. Greek yogurt, Activia, those are pretty good. Where can microbes also be of benefit? Microbes are used in many industries such as food, beverage, chemical, and antibiotic industries. How do did scientists learn so much about genetic engineering, DNA, RNA, and chromosomes? Basically, they started with microbes, microorganisms. They have 1-4 chromosomes. They started learning from there, and from there they started being able to mess with vegetables and fruits. That's why bell peppers, for example, they used to be small and only green. Now they're huge and they come in varying colors. It all started with microorganisms starting there, and now they can tamper with human beings, which is kind of cool. Alright, let's learn about some old white dudes. Anton van Leeuwenhoek, I think. He's considered the father of microbiology, which is kind of cool because he was just a linen merchant. He just wanted to look at his linen real close up, but he accidentally discovered microorganisms. Pretty bizarre. A lot of people didn't really believe him. They thought he was crazy, but he made the first microscope, so good for him. And these little tiny things that he saw like moving around under his microscope, he called them animalcules, which is just the term for microorganisms that he used. Second white guy, Louis Pasteur. A lot of times people at this time, when they got sick, people believed that it was God cursing them, which is absurd. And he discovered that this was not the case. He discovered pasteurization of wine and milk. He invented the rabies and anthrax vaccine. He discovered life forms that could exist without oxygen. Investigated different fermentation products. Robert Koch, German physician who made numerous contributions to microbiology, made significant contributions to the germ theory of disease. One germ causes one disease, not God. Discovered that Bacillus anthrax produced spores, developed methods of fixing and staining bacteria, developed methods to cultivate bacteria. Let's do some quick terms, okay? Bacteriology, study of bacteria. Phycology, study of algae. Protozoology, study of protozoa, such as an amoeba, which are found in lake water. Parasitology, study of parasites. Mycology, study of fungi. Virology, study of viruses. Medical microbiology, a lot of different things. Involves the study of pathogens, which invade the body and cause disease. The disease they cause and the body's defense against the disease. Number 2, concerned with epidemiology, transmission of pathogens, disease prevention measures, aseptic techniques for treatment of infectious diseases, immunology, and production of vaccines. Last question. Name a fungal disease right now. Okay, let me tell you. Mycosis, athlete's foot, ringworm, yeast infection, swimmer's ear, candida. It's very resistant, hard to stop it, but we can do it if we try. Anyways, that's the end of this video. I hope that you enjoyed. Microbiology is really fun so far. I hope that I like the class, and I hope I do well the first test. Let me know in the comments if you're taking this class, if you took the class, if you have any tips. I would like to know. If you fell asleep during this video, let me know. I don't know. I'm kind of fuzzled right now. I'm going a little crazy in